hills and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance to spit in his eye. Well, they gave me balls, but I can see between to a dusty yard and a long gone green. They call that freedom, if you know what I mean. And I dry my sorrows, but the whiskey's gone. I'm sober as a judge.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Shortbangers Extra. I'm Matty. Joined. It's the Shortbangers Extra, is it? It is. Fuck.
Shortbangers starting.
Good start this year. So we recorded on, what night was it? Sunday night?
Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, we recorded Shortbangers with Joe Caulfield, which should be in your podcast players now, if you're not listening to it. And I forgot just before we started whether we were putting this one out free or that one out free. And so I fucked up the start. So we're off to a flyer. Anyway, joined by Colin and John. John, how you doing?
Doing really well, thanks. I've come downstairs because the bairn's no longer gone down to sleep and I didn't want our laughter, mine in particular, to wake her up. So
so everybody be quiet, right? Colin, how are you doing?
All right, mate. Aye, not bad. Not bad. Yourself? Nice to see you with the glasses on. Just make us a bit more intelligent.
That's it. I thought we'd dumbed it down enough, and I thought I'll put the glasses on just to at least pretend. I noticed you've got yours on the night, so
you should have said I didn't.
We could have been the proclaimers.
I know. I just had a contact lens problem before we came on as well, and I ended up pushing about it and ended up putting it back in. I could have just taken them out and the specky ones.
I put mine in for an hour. Went in the car, took Sophie at her boyfriend's, and as I was driving, I was like, Kim, it's not sitting right. And then I started rubbing my eye, and then it just got worse and worse. And then next thing, they're stinging and all burning. So first chance I got the glasses back on, and I hate wearing the glasses as well. But never mind. Here we are. Ladies, calm down. Anyway, form an orderly queue. Right, first question tonight. This comes from Paul Galetta, and I need to apologise because Paul sent this question in on the 13th of June, and I forgot because he sent it on Facebook. So it says, all right, guys, got a Shortbangers question. If the sachets and pot noodles are the same size for the regular or king size pot noodles, are you expected either to not put the full amount of soy sauce in regular ones or add more of your own soy sauce into the king size?
You can something. It's amazing that you think you've held on to that since the 13th of June because you've definitely asked that question.
Have I? Somebody must have somebody else must have sent it in as well. Or maybe I remembered. Maybe I remembered to ask it and forgot.
I was definitely sitting about the extra. I might have even been when the Mark Nelson was on. Might have even been then. It's a good question. Like I can't remember even what we answered. We probably answered it differently for tonight, but I get. You can't be expected not to put the full sachet in the small one or the regular sized one, would you?
Stupid. No.
They would just give you a smaller sachet. But why then do they not give you a bigger sachet? Must be a machine. The machine can't make it. Must be that size in the machine.
Why do they not stick like in the production line? Why is there no a setting that says like we're doing the king size today, so 2 sachets? Just cost too much.
But it's not double the size though, is it? Is it a king size double the size at normal?
No, that's fair.
So then you are getting too much.
Maybe because it's like only a small amount anyway. Maybe the extra that you'd have to put in is that negligible that it's no worth doing all that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Golden Wonder. What if I like my soy sauce?
But
it's a pot noodle.
Aye, but it'd only be a droplet more that you'd be putting in. So I think
there's a guy out there called Pea Noodle. Like that's his initial in something.
There's probably somebody called Pot Noodle. It's bound to be. Aye. If you're Pot Noodle, text in 80295. Just say I'm Pot Noodle. Right, next question. We'll move on. William asks, can we just get rid of birds? They clearly just want to die anyway. They leave flying away at the last minute if you cycle or drive at them. They stand and watch predators eating their pals and don't think to fly away as they might be next. They're attacking the shit out of each other when food is scarce, and they shit on everything. They also fly too close to you if you startle them, causing you to shit yourself too. Get rid.
What is their sort of job in the system?
Worm collection.
Right, and what's that? What's the value in
that? Something to do with early birds. Don't know. It's a wee reward for getting up early. It's an incentive, isn't it? It's an incentive to get up early for everybody else.
I mean, you
Do you
get what I mean
find-
though. Like bees will help with pollen and all that stuff, and flowers and shit like that. So, like, what does a bird bring to
Well,
the world?
birds do that as well to an extent because birds eat the seeds and stuff like that, and then they shit it out. But the shit out seeds then go and grow into other things.
All right.
Not I say like plants, not again, they're not like transformers or fuck all like that. Like, so they do that, and they kill insects as well. So there's a bit of insect population management happening with birds. Seagulls like chips, and also they're quite good for like sort of comedy videos. So like the wee one that went in and showed the sandwich at the shop.
Mhm.
So that's what they bring. What were the before social media? They weren't used to anybody, though.
Nah, fucking hopeless.
Well, I mind reading something about who was it? Chairman Mao. So I think he decreed when he was part of I can't remember what it was called in China. It was like the Great Revolution or something. But he decreed that this particular bird, kill them all, get rid of them. Too noisy, pain in the arse. And then because they got rid of the birds, there was a plague of locusts came in. I don't know, that sounds a bit biblical, but the locusts destroyed the crops. People starved in the millions. So birds are good in that respect.
It's pretty much how I answered, isn't it? Insect control.
But they are pretty brave though. So like, there's been a couple of occasions recently where I've been out in the car and not necessarily like driving quickly, maybe just pulling at the street or whatever, and you see a wee bird sort of like sauntering across the road. Like, are you going to move or am I going to have to stop? And it's like a battle of wills. It's like chicken with a tiny wee bird in a big car. You're like, I'm not going to kill you. And I think that's why. They're brave.
Ironically, you never see chickens doing it.
No.
Just pigeons and seagulls and that.
Yeah.
So I think we makes quite a good case for it. I would, if it wasn't for the insect thing, I'd probably be up for it.
What was the insect thing? What did he say about that?
We said it about how they control insects.
We said
it. Insects are worse than birds, aren't they? Like,
what would you rather have flying about more? Birds or daddy longlegs or like flying ants or whatever? Like, well, any kind of winged insect.
Fly ants. That's what they should be called. Fly ants, yeah. Well, look, it's a fly ant. I'd rather have the birds because they're easier to avoid and they're less likely to fucking come in your kitchen and cause havoc when somebody else in the family needs to go and shoo on out the house or catch it.
What bloody nonsense that is, though, eh? How did that ever become a thing? Like, how is that acceptable?
Being scared of insects.
To be scared of like a spider, a tiny wee spider. Not a poisonous one, not a tarantula or anything. A fucking tiny wee spider that's in the bath or wherever. Like, how is it acceptable to skin the house down for that? Just isn't it, eh?
I had a 2 a.m. spider call the other night where the girls came through and there was one in the bath, which is the easiest one to get rid of as well because you can just get the shower head, just squish it in the plug hole.
I had that once when I stayed in Slateford. I got up one morning, bleary-eyed, went for a pee and sat at caught my attention at the corner of my eye and I looked at the bath. It's this big fucking spider. And I did what you suggested, Matty. Like, it's just that's the easy one. Like, you just chuck water at it or you turn on the taps and just blast it down the plug hole. This thing was that big that it braced itself against the fucking plug. And it was like, right, come on. So I'm in there.
It's a loofah out and starts washing itself.
I'm in there with the cups of water, like chucking it like the fucking dam busters, like trying to get rid of this thing. And I was like, when I finally got it down the plug hole, I never opened the plugs for like 3 weeks afterwards because I was like, you're going to tell your pals and come back.
Aye, that's the rule. That I think it'll be lifting the plug back up. That's in danger. Leave the tap running for ages to make sure it's washed away. Right, TG Willis asks, is this craft beer or pineapple juice? We'll look at that first time. Picture what?
Wow.
That looks like a smoothie of some sort, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Aye. You didn't get pineapple juice served in a pint glass, do you? It's normally in like the wee highball tumbler if you're out.
So we're saying juice then.
No, I said it's craft beer.
Craft beer. All right.
It looks like a pint glass.
Heads Keenan said, why does hay fever nasal spray smell like flowers?
Colin, do you get hay fever?
No.
I don't believe I suffer from hay fever. However, for like the last 46 weeks or whatever, like I'm really, really phlegmy. And and I feel like I can't say that I've got hay fever because I know that Matty really struggles from it. And the missus suffered by like eyes are streaming, nose itchy. I've just got like minor inconvenience.
Yeah, I know. I'm okay. Like a couple of my daughters, my wife gets it as well, but they get it varying different levels. You know, it's just like an itchy eye. Take a bit of histamine and they're all right. But like there's proper like streaming. You the worst thing is though, see when you're at your work and somebody's got it and they're like that. I fucking hate that. Like just
I bet you do. Aye. Go on, boy.
I'm on the phone to you. Like, why are you doing that? Sort of thing.
That's fair. I suppose for the rose spray, they have to pack it at like a smell. So I suppose it can have it completely scent free, but maybe the ingredients don't allow that. Like you have to add something to it. So then you'd have to choose what to make it smell of. But I suppose if you would encourage people to use your product to stick up their nose, right? Keep it legal. What scent would you choose?
Probably something sweet.
You mean like a vape sort of scent, like a peach or a raspberry?
Yeah, something like that.
What would you go for, Matty, as a hay fever struggler?
Cooking bacon. It was just potentially the best smell in the world.
Aye, it is. It's a good smell.
But what about for the vegans and the vegetarians? What are they going to have?
They can still enjoy the smell.
Aye.
Can they?
Can they? Do their ethics and morals not prevent them from enjoying the smell of sizzling fat?
It's not all vegetarians are. It's not because of ethics and morals. Or some aren't to do that. It's just that they disagree with eating meat. It's not that they wouldn't kill them or whatever.
Yeah,
I can't think where I'm going with that. But my mate. One of your mates.
Hang on. So what you were saying there was, I don't know what to eat it, but I'm quite happily murder them in their thousands.
Sorry, they did.
Aye,
sorry, they did. They can't do nothing about it. They're still going to eat it, out of principle, but sorry, they fucking did. I think that's what I was trying to say. But he went veggie for a while, mate Jason, and that's what turned him back. Hangover, bacon roll on a Sunday morning.
Aye.
I can't fucking do this. I need a bacon roll. That's what stopped him.
I reckon there's probably 80 to 90% attribution for bacon rolls for people who lapse from being vegetarians. I reckon it would be that, or maybe a steak, but probably a bacon roll.
Do you think you could turn? Do you think you could take a vegetarian and turn them by just like whacking some bacon on that? Would you put in the frying pan or the grill? Either, no matter.
So you do that, and then you'd lay it on an open window with a fan blowing. And you're like in the cartoons with the scent wafts like that, and the vegetarian be walking, and then
the vegetarian down the street sabotaging their way of life.
The nose would go in the air, and they'd follow the scent back to the window, and then
they just like suddenly start flying like the cartoons.
Aye,
to follow the scent.
You think somebody's been a vegetarian before? Always been a vegetarian, because I assume there must be some folk bring their kids up to be vegetarians. Yeah. Like they've never really ate meat. Do you think they would get turned by the smell of bacon, or do you think because they don't really know what it is? But they know what the smell is, but they don't know what like the taste sensation is.
They can have bacon crisps. That's a weird one. I don't know if it's still the case, but
it's like bacon though. Really,
cheese and onion crisps were not suitable for vegetarians, and bacon crisps were. I don't know if it's still the case, but for a while, that was one of these quirky wee facts.
What do you think the vegetarian or vegan equivalent of a bacon roll is? Like, what's the thing? Because like vegans, vegetarians must go to drinking.
Celery.
Like, what do they go for on a Sunday morning when they're hungover as fuck?
It's a good question. I was thinking.
Any veggies listening? Text in.
What's your bacon? You get veggie bacon. Sophie was vegetarian.
Oh, bacon. The bacon they call it.
Aye, and we would have that sometimes, but it didn't look broad. It looked like the sole of a shoe.
Like a rubber strip or an insole.
It's like one of the bits of bacon you used to get like at the Blackpool, and it was a sticky rock. They just looked like bacon. Like that. But it's why do that? I didn't get that. Like you're a vegetarian, so I'll have something that looks like meat. Like why? Just they get it. I
can understand it because it's it's like you still like the taste of things, but if you're not eating it on principle. So if you could have Because I would see if there was, and the problem is stuff, right? Probably doing things as a service, right? But if you could get veggie bacon that tasted just like bacon, I'd have that. No problem having it because you're only going for the taste. You're not going because it's
Yeah.
meat. Do you know, like you didn't have it because it's a dead pig. You
But
did because it tastes good.
That's the thing, though. It doesn't
Aye.
taste like it, and it doesn't. It's not the same texture as it either.
But do you know how like half of your taste comes through like your nose and your eyes? That's what you say. Though. So maybe if it looks and smells a bit like bacon, by the time you eat it, your brain tricks you enough to think that's bacon, and then you enjoy
What
it
if
more.
you've never had proper bacon before? I suppose it wouldn't matter then, because you think that's what bacon is. You don't
Aye.
realise how shit it is compared to the real stuff.
Probably wonder what all the fuss is about it.
Aye.
Right, anyway, if we have completely offended any vegetarians, listen, text in 80295.
By the way, I'd love to eat more vegetables. I just can't fucking get the kids to do it. Like anytime I try to make a veggie lasagna or that, I love veggie lasagna. Fucking make it, they'll turn their nose up at it and say, "Where's the meat?" It's like, where's the mince? Like, fucking hell, this is nicer.
Aye.
Actually nicer.
Better for you as well. Better for the environment.
Aye, exactly.
There was a Netflix documentary coming, what it was called, The Game Changer. Did you watch that? Where the boy...
I've got on my list because you've told me about it before.
Aye. They go and talk about the benefits of a vegan diet or meat-free diet for sports people, etc. It's worth watching. I don't know how much of it's actual factual though, because it's like these things are always sort of agenda driven, whether it's an agenda you agree with or one that you disagree with. So you never know.
It was like in the 50s when they used to advertise cigarettes. It's good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Remember? It's like because it was paid for by. But I was eating. Stop eating as much.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Good for the appetite.
I definitely feel right when I stopped smoking.
I'm just imagining Colin with like a single tear rolling at his eye when he's got the chef lights on when the kids turn their nose up at his veggie lasagna that he's slaved over the stove for hours over.
Aye, these lines are an argument. Shouting match.
Right, 150k on Hanlon Hill said, how come guys called Stephen shorten the name to Steve and not Steph? This is Stephen with a PH.
Well, how were they called Stephen in the first place with a PH though? They're not Stephen.
They're not Stephen.
But never, you take the. He's right. He's bang on. But actually, if you look at it, how has PH got a V sound? Because it's not with what phase or phone.
Are there other instances where a PH is a V, or is it only for Stephen?
Can't think of. Bound to be, but I can't think of any. I'm just immediately thinking of those two that I said.
I was just thinking about this before, so I can imagine that PH Stephen shortens it to Steve with a V because the alternative would be Steph, which is a feminine name. But then I was thinking about my mate's missus who's called Stephanie and her shortening her name to Steve. I thought that would be quite amusing.
Aye, suggest it. Text her then, I see what she says. I was just talking about your podcast. I wonder if you'd ever fancied calling yourself Steve.
It's got to be a fight. That's got to be a factor, right? Like that's why they didn't. That's why guys called Stephen with a PH didn't call themselves Steph.
There's the story about the boy that goes into Starbucks, they write their name on the cup, and so it's your name, and it says Stephen with a V, and then he gets the cup and it says the Stephen with a PH in the middle.
I went into where was I? What day was it? I went into Starbucks the other day for a coffee. I was meeting someone. And the boy at the counter says to me, right, what's your name? When he took my order. And genuinely, I was only cunt in the queue. Like, what does it matter what my name is?
Did you give him your name?
Aye. I don't know why I'd be a dick about it. I'll be a dick about it on the podcast, but not in real life.
Do you know, this is one of the other things I saw on TikTok, and it's fucking annoyed me as well. As we talk about TikTok and things that annoy me, is the people that go in, it's obviously a fucking setup, and they go, what's your name? And it's like, Ivor Biggin.
Aye. Yeah.
Ken. Like that. And then they go, Ivor Biggin. Oh, fucking hilarious. Like, nah, that's all fucking set up, you cunt. Right, Ian T. Our ponderers just folk that overthink things.
Let me think about that one.
That's what I said to him as well. I replied to that tweet.
Did you share the meme, Vic and Bob, John, didn't you? Or was it Ian that replied to your one with it?
Oh,
with
what was
So I don't know if you knew the reference. So on Vic Reeves' Big Night Out, they did two characters called the Ponderers, who pretty much they had big massive chins, and they just sat. I think they were topless behind the desk and just sort of whilst stroking their chins.
He
And
did say something
was
about
it.
chins. Uh-huh.
It's much funnier when you see it than we try to explain it. But
But to answer the question, what's the question again? Are ponderers just what they do? What's the question?
are they people who just think too much? I think.
I think sometimes it's good to take your time away.
See, I was going to ask Colin, like, you
The
being
procrastination that's a problem.
so you being a project manager, like, what's your decision making process? How do you do you ponder things, or are you quite quick at reaching a decision and saying, right, do that, or we need to do this?
Depends on what it is. I think I didn't do it all. Some things are obvious, but other times you need to speak to people and sort of work it out. So would that count as pondering? Probably would, eh? Aye. So I do both. I think there's value in both. Somebody does it all the time and everything. That's not right. Like sometimes you just know the answer's fucking yes or no, or a number depending on what it is. Like I've got that. I've got people like that. You ask a question and you get the well, and you go no. The next answer I'm expecting to hear is either yes or no, or a fucking number, right? Because that's there's no fucking well. Let me tell you, no, just fucking answer the question. But it's like politicians, though, eh? Like they just deflect.
Oh fuck it! That's that drives me fucking mental. That the whole thing when somebody just asks a direct question and you're going, how can you not answer that? And then they just start fucking. It's about. You're not fucking know about that, you thick cunt. They just fucking asked you a question. It's fucking easy. I can tell you what it's about. You fucking idiot. It's not that.
They don't hold them. I know enough of them hold them to account on it. Like the clip I've seen recently is the Krishnan and Guru Murphy. I'm not sure if I pronounced it right, of Channel 4 News, and there was a woman on, and it was that Braverman, Sheila Braverman, how do you say her name? And he asked her a direct question. It was about how many members are on the RG or something.
Aye.
And she wouldn't answer it. And he just kept coming back to it. You could tell that wasn't even going to be the line of questioning. But he realised she's not going to answer this. I'm just going to keep fucking asking the same question over and over. And she kept repeating the same line, like the one she'd been given that morning to memorise and read it. And he just kept going, how many is there though? But it's paid for, it's funded. So we're entitled to know. So tell me how many it is. It just fucking we're round and round the circles. But you think, just keep doing that. Just keep doing that. And then we'll embarrass the fuckers into answering some questions for once. Because if they're all ridiculed like that, then they've got to start answering them. Or the ones that do answer it are the ones that are going to get the votes, aren't they?
It's the same on PMQs as well, though. They just fucking dodge the questions. You're like,
And
it's a pointless fucking exercise.
Yeah.
And, was it yesterday the McCaskill got kicked out, came on to fucking politics? There's no often we have a politics discussion here. See the fucking way the cunts were like, oh, we're behaving. Can you imagine trying to have a meeting at your work when folk were behaving like that? I just said, fucking all you fuck off. Aye, it's like bairns. It's just acceptable. And I think this is an all right way to behave. He's standing at the end shouting at folk, chucking him out, go and stand outside for 20 minutes again until you calm down, and everybody else is.
Because imagine you get, I'm not saying he was wrong really in what he was protesting about, but imagine you get chucked at a meeting at your work.
Aye.
But do you just get to go out and talk to the press about it? Or is that you? You're on the yellow card there at least. Like you're on some kind of disciplinary. Like it's fucking mental. It's just mad. As you say, they can just get him stand tell lies. It's fine. It's all right. You can't call him a liar, but you can let him lie.
You let him lie within a comment. Fucking mental.
Who wrote these fucking rules?
Aye. Aye. I'm the Lord of. TG Willis is a football club formed in 1824 in Edinburgh and said to be the oldest football club in the world, which was revived in 2007, still on the go. I'll take if it was revived. It was called the Foot-Ball Club. Was a football club in Edinburgh, Scotland, formed in 1824.
What was it? Who was the boy? Was it that someone played rugby and then no, someone was playing football and then picked up the ball and it became a game. Like that's how the game of rugby developed. But when was the first round bladdered inflated ball kicked about? When was football invented? Because 1824 seems awfully early. Like when you think about Hibs, for example, they weren't formed for like another 50 years.
5+6, mate. Isn't it just before? I suppose there isn't that much else to do, but who did they play against? If there's only one team, just have a training match with like shirts and skins. Aye.
I wonder what it was back then. Like, was it jumpers for goalposts, or was it like, I don't know? Did they have jumpers back in the early 1800s?
Top hats.
They must have, eh?
Top hats or cloth hats.
Top hats and pantaloons.
Aye, for goalposts. Right, Ian T. If Rees Mogg wore Tim sad but dim teeth, would he gain or lose support?
Who was Tim
Nice
sad
but dim, wasn't it?
Harry Enfield.
It was Tim Nice but dim.
Aye, Tim Nice but dim.
They obviously didn't want to call him Nice.
Oh, aye, Nice but sad but dim, aye.
Was he wasn't a Tory boy, was he?
No, Tory Boy was a different character.
He was, because I think that's who Boris Johnson's modelled on. I think that's where he took his inspiration. Because he is like, to my memory, anyway, it was like it was like that daft sort of
bumbling idiot, tough.
Aye, yeah.
Oh, the sort of lovable eccentric.
Yeah. I do like the idea that Rees Mogg with the big fucking funny teeth though. That would
it might actually inject a bit of character in him, like make him less haunted Victorian pencil.
What was that Viz character that Rees Mogg's like? There is a Viz character that
was it Victorian Dad? Or was that Victorian or something? It was like something like that, I'm sure. The Viz is fucking
they drew it, they were ahead of their time. It's like that thing with the Simpsons, yeah.
Where they predicted it.
Aye.
I got
Victorian Dad.
Victorian Dad. There was one of the guys that's on Headbangers shared his is it Readly app that gives you access to all the magazines and stuff. He says I've got a spare log on if you want it. And if that was the first thing I looked up, I wonder if they've got Viz. And they did. So I just sat killed an hour or two reading Viz. Fucking brilliant. Right, Mark Smith asks, what's the best alternative question to ask a taxi driver other than busy the night or how busy the night? Because we all do it.
Aye. So I seen that question, so I messaged my brother-in-law, but he's not got back to me properly. He did say that is fucking constant. That at what time do you start, time do you finish? That's the other ones you get.
It's like when you go to the barber.
You must be a millionaire driver. That's the other one he gets apparently quite a lot as well. That's because of the amount of fucking charge.
The stock hairdresser question that you get is, you going anywhere in your summer holidays?
Aye.
You've been working the day. I don't know. I think we've got an opportunity with our listener base to start getting folk to ask at least Edinburgh taxi drivers a new question.
Ask Shortbangers questions to them. Like and like, should we get rid of birds? Right, mate,
would you rather have a dog seat in a human's body?
Can you imagine sitting there doing that? See what that would be brilliant.
I bet you'd get some taxi drivers who would go, they'd get right in the spirit of it straight away and they'd get a conversation, and then there'd be another one just go, no, and then put the wee mute button on so you can't hear them or they can't hear you.
You've got to have a personality to be a taxi driver though. Because they've all got an opinion.
No, the ones I can.
No.
We'll move on. 150k Hamlin Hill asks, has a shite ejected from the ISS ever hit a space shuttle windscreen?
NASA would never, ever, ever admit to because like, could you imagine what is it the sort of speeds, like, you know, when they talk about like cosmic space dust, like minuscule flexy paint, like where it catches the orbit and it's flying about, like it can put holes in things because it's traveling at like 20,000 miles an hour. Imagine the damage a jobby could do at 20,000 miles an hour.
And there's only a few folk that it could have been as well. Kind of like if you were looking for the culprit, you go, fuck has done this, and then you go, who's like the 2 or 3 people that have been out in space? So there's no that many, maybe 2 or 3, but You narrow it
Imagine
down.
like you know how you had the what was it? Was it the Challenger and you had Columbia that were destroyed, and they came up with these very technical reasons behind the explosion or the. I think was it Columbia broke up in midair. They said it was a wing that was damaged on takeoff. Like how do you write technically in a report destroyed by Jobby?
I would just write that.
Like that was just that's the official
Aye.
NASA report. Mission abort due to Jobby.
Aye. Dangerous totally conditions.
What's the American word? Like you know how Scots slang for well, we've got loads of words for shite, but you've got Jobby, you've got totally, you've got shite. What's the Americanism for Jobby?
This is shit.
Is that it? It's awfully boring.
That's quite a good question, John. I've never. I'm trying crap, and shit. I'm trying to think what like like if you think back to films and stuff, they don't talk about actual shit very often. It's another thing that makes films and that unrealistic. I think I mind we're talking about this about 24, eh? Like at no point does he go, oh, fuck, I need to find a service station or nipping to Asda's or something. Just fucking touching cloth here.
Yeah, of course, I expressed.
Aye, that's how I've got the turtle seed. If I kind of like, I'm gonna have to lose this because I'm on here. Because if I didn't, I'm fucking shitting myself.
President dies after the nuclear bomb goes off because Jack Bauer nips into a Costa Express to have a shite.
You just hear him fucking muttering at the wee tracing paper bog roll, tearing the fuck out of his arse. Right, before we move on. Ian asks, following in the footsteps of Police Squad, choose a fantasy starring guest who will join and die in the first scene after the question, and how will they die? E.g. William Shatner, and there's a wee example on there.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Just rewind
No.
it. Just rewind the 50.
Aye, just so
I'll put you on live pause. Give me a second.
So basically, you're getting a celebrity to join in Police Squad. You've seen
Oh, Police Squad, right, okay, yeah.
but they die just at the end of the opening credits, pretty much. So they're only in it for that cameo. Who would you have in, and how would you make them die?
Ah, right, okay.
You must have somebody, Matthew. You're a big fan of Police Squad.
Aye.
Somebody who...
I'd like to have...
So, Police Squad was the sort of inspiration, if you like, for the Naked Gun films, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Aye, they didn't really have cameos in the films, did they? Because it was all just like
they did be cameos. They were definitely sure that I'm saying yes, but like I think an Airplane had the big basketball player. Do you know?
oh, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Aye. What I would have Jesus, right, and there'd be like a running joke because you'd have him getting killed right at the start, and then at the start of the next week when he would have risen again, and then it just happened, and you could just have that for every fucking episode at the start, like a running joke. That's what I would do.
Oh, yeah, like maybe aye, like at the start you could have him rising again, and then at the end of the episode you could have the stone getting rolled back, like sealing him in the cave.
Aye, something like that. I think that would be class. Is Jesus a celebrity?
he's dead famous. So, is it what counts as a celebrity? Is it not just somebody who's really famous?
I don't know. See, these days it's someone that's had a sex scandal. Like Jesus had a sex scandal.
He's never been in Heat magazine, has he?
No.
Did he know? Did he not go with a married woman? Mary Magdalene.
Mary Magdalene.
Is it? So he's just having affairs and that, wasn't he? So,
Do you think if Jesus was about today, there's a chance that he would be involved in like a Me Too? He'd be part of a Me Too scandal, or just cancelled for views or whatever.
He may be cancelled for his views. For like, so, well, depending on who you believe, because there's some folk use the Bible to justify their intolerant views on things. But the spirit of the Bible is fundamentally good. It's all about forgiving and kind of loving your fellow man and all the rest of it. So, no, in that sense, because that's what they say is different. But do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but we've said it before. If he was here nowadays, he'd just have his own TV show, just like Dynamo does.
He'd be on TikTok.
doing other tricks.
That's what he'd be doing.
Or miracles, as we called them in the old days.
Aye. Everybody going fucking psych up, fucking shite. Water in the wine days. Make a
See,
fucking,
Dino did it millions of times. He'd
Aye.
have Pepsi Max, the water, can't I?
make a skyscraper disappear.
I want to know what a modern day Jesus would do. Like, have you seen, is it California Man, where there's a boy that's been frozen like a mammoth for millennia, and then, I don't know, global warming or an iceberg or whatever gets dug up in someone's back garden. Boy falls out and he's cutting about Los Angeles, I'm sure, with his loincloth covering his bits. And he has to adjust to modern life. Like, what would Jesus do nowadays? Like, would he still be feeding the 5,000? Or would he be, what else would he be up to?
Nowadays? More than that nowadays, you'd need to feed.
Aye.
Food banks by Jesus.
Yeah. Providing heat for the winter.
Yeah.
People didn't heat the fucking boiler on.
He'd probably just be fucking decided I could make millions here. He'd be kicking a bit of a Ferrari and kind of like Houston in the Hamptons or something, just minding his own business. Fuck, it's not worth it.
Aye, I was just thinking about it. I was trying to think of the words on like a scenario where Jesus was to reappear and go, "Oh no, you cunts are too far gone.
Aye.
There's no saving you."
So there's literally nature. Somebody's going to fucking believe me anyway. That's it. Right. Do you want to give a celebrity, or are you no bothered? Answer Ian's question.
I think it's something that we can explore further, but I'm just saying that because we're just talking about Jesus in modern day terms. Who could you put? Who do you think would be a decent cameo? Like who immediately springs to mind, Colin, when you think of celebrities or people in the public eye?
Yeah, Gemma Collins.
Oh shit!
I think she fell
Of
through
all
the
the-
stage.
Oh shit! Of all the people that I thought Colin would mention, Gemma Collins was probably in the bottom 5%. How do you know about Gemma Collins?
Oh, because fucking the eldest one watched all the Towie ones and caught up with it. And so all I got was the JC stuff or the catchphrases. The only one of which I can remember is the "I'm not getting involved." So I often say that in the house.
Do you do that with your Gemma Collins blonde wig on?
No. I try and put the accent on, but it doesn't work very well. So, but I do that. I'm not getting involved.
How would you
Very
kill her?
often.
How would you kill her in
Well,
Police Squad?
But I'd probably do like try and remake the thing that Matthew mentioned, where she fell through the stage, but it just like falls into an eternal.
Aye.
Or every week there's a different painful death. Like maybe it's, I don't know, revolving blades, or I think the thing that I described a couple of weeks ago that destroys anything. Like if it's like the two revolving wheels and it just crushes stuff.
There's always a trapdoor the way, like push go this way.
Aye, she's just wandering along, minding her own business.
Just give them an idea.
Into eternal nothingness, one way to a shredder.
Aye, Gemma Collins a shout.
Right, TG Willis says, why do Scottish country dancing tunes always end in a single chord?
I have no idea. Is it just the sound of the accordion when it stops getting played? Is it just the air releasing? Maybe
Could be.
because it is, like or the bagpipe, or
Aye.
just the air, the last bit of the air going out. Well, that'd be a bit of a coincidence. It's always the same fucking amount, eh?
Is it the accordion that your Cayley music's traditionally played upon? I've not been at Cayley for years, so I can't quite remember.
Have you done country dancing since you finished school?
Cayley's
Yeah,
at
so
like New Year and that.
sometimes.
Yeah.
There's been wedding ones and that, just like you get the wee half hour and they stick the gay gardens and that on. I don't know if they're getting involved though.
Nah, they're not for me. I don't like it. I never understand what I'm meant to be doing.
Are you too scarred for your high school experiences where the girls wouldn't want to touch you?
There's that as well. Aye. Never had my glasses back then, John.
No silver fox in their days.
Yeah. Just a creepy wee fucker. Right, Brunswick Bill asks, if you're born within earshot of the Bow Bells, you're a Cockney. What are you called if you're born within earshot of the Easter Road Roar?
The obvious one, I think, is it Letha? It's got to be the obvious one, right?
Somebody tweeted,
But
I
what
forgot who replied. Somebody replied to a Leaf. I think Raymond said, a good cunt.
But what about? Well, why is it a Cockney though? Why was it ever called a Cockney? What's that got to do with the Bow Bells? Like, it's not linked in any way, is it? So you're just making something up. So you'd pick Leith because it's close to Easter Road, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Cockney's not close to the Bow Bells.
I think enough about where Cockneys are situated in London and where the Bow Bells are.
Well, I think anybody with a London accent now gets called a Cockney, but I think what they mean is that if it used to be, or the original phrasing was, if you could hear the Bow Bells, whatever that is, by the way, I don't know what that is either, but if you could hear it, that was the circle, if you like, where the Cockney started and ended. But what we're saying, it's a roar for Easter Road, so why would that be Leith? Why would that be a Leither? Not doing that.
You could still hear Leith though. Like you could hear Easter Road from my flat when I was when I lived there.
You can hear it from Meadowbank. That's not
True.
Get to that side of the stadium, so it's not.
So
it's just
take geography out of it, then just give them a name for.
Well, that's what the Bow Bells and Cockney is. There's
Aye.
nothing to do with geography. That's what I mean. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Right,
Don't know the answer, like, but
It's a tough one to invent something out of nothing, like you're saying, like with the Bow Bells and the Cockney, like the two of them have no relation to one another. So how do you?
I know this is that. Is Cockney rhyming slang for anything?
Oh,
Nah.
it's a good shout because
Oh,
Cockney
well,
rhyming slang. It's saying that they haven't
I
do
know,
the rhyming slang, but I don't know if that's
aye.
where it.
And that's what I mean. Does it mean something else? Like, does Cockney means like? Is it rhyming for something else? So then I don't know. Just fucking going down a rabbit hole here. No idea.
Aye. Anyway, we'll move on. TG Willis, why are pistachios always sold with their shells on?
Must be something to do with freshness, isn't it?
Keep them fresh. It's part of the ceremony of having pistachios. They're certainly kind of taking the wee shells
Well,
off.
I think are they supposed to be? Is it because I think the ones that are bad are the ones that haven't opened up yet, and I presume it's going to be.
That's mussels.
So if you like, I don't know if you've been to Lidl, they quite often have like nuts in containers, and you can go and scoop them out or whatever. But I suppose if you get them in a bag, it doesn't really matter. But when is it? You get bad pistachios, and they're the ones to avoid. I thought it was the ones that hadn't opened yet. I
think if I know with mussels, like if you have a bowl of mussels and you've cooked them and they haven't opened, you didn't eat that one. But the other ones you do. And that's how you know when they're cooked as well, isn't it? Because the shells open up. But I don't think it's the same principle with pistachio nuts, John. Happy to be corrected on that, though. If you're a pistachio nut and you're listening, text in 8295.
I'd imagine it must be something to do with, like, I don't know, production, like for bagging them, because it would just be a nightmare to. I wonder if there's no machinery complex enough that can peel the wee shell off for you, so they just punch them out like that.
And it'd be too dear to pay some kind so that just get them out, they'll fucking peel them themselves.
Aye. Still charge them a lot for it anyway, though, because there's no cheap pistachios.
No, they're expensive. But then again, do you think it's not like a banana, but a banana comes in the skin and you peel it yourself, right? So do you think it's for freshness? Because obviously if it wasn't in the skin, it would go black really quick.
Yeah.
So but the pistachio do that as well. And did you know what end you meant to peel a banana from?
Aye, the other end.
Aye, the other end. Aye. Started doing it. It works.
Aye, it's much easier, eh? I reckon how this wasn't we weren't made aware of this like at an earlier age.
Yeah. Found out a 44-year-old.
Yep. John, you mentioned bad pistachios. What would a bad pistachio get up to?
I think the first thing that springs to mind is that it's going to be a like some sort of pervert, like it's going to be flashing itself at you, or it's going to be like peeking in your window. Aye. Right.
For a moment there, John, I thought you were going to have like sort of not really picked up on the spirit of that question, and we're going to say, Joe, it'll make you sick. So when you said the word pervert, I was like, yes. They made it a bit funnier for me.
I don't know. It seems like a creepy wee. I don't know. Is it the nuts fall under the legume family? I don't know. It seems like a creepy wee thing. Like have you had pistachio gelato from? But you can get it anywhere. But in Italy, it's the best, I think.
Ice cream. You mean?
It's the fucking tits. Honestly, it's so good.
See,
It's no ice cream. It's
I like
I'm only
pistachio.
kidding. I'm only kidding. I was being wide.
I know.
There's an Italian restaurant in Musselburgh. Can't remember the name of it. It's near the Grove. If you go that side of Musselburgh, kind of the big Tesco is in Musselburgh.
Aye.
There's an Italian just next to there, and they do a pistachio tiramisu. It's fucking amazing.
Is it Caprice?
No, by the way, Caprice didn't fucking go there. They get a reputation for good pizzas in it. Like, we booked it one time. Can't remember, one of the kids' birthdays. I think they wanted to go, so we said that's fine. We'll go. Booked the table. Went in. Was his kind of table booked, and they said phoned up to me because it wasn't even like an online one. Phoned up. They must have forgot to write it down. I said, well, and we come over the fit up Fairland, and that is kind of anyway you could fit us in. So we could put 2 years at that table over there, and kind of 3 years over there. So,
That was you though, because you could have sat with your favourite one and send the other ones over the other table.
I wanted to sit. If it had been 4-1, Colin.
I'll take the one.
Right, 4-1, that would have been. I'll take the hit first. I don't mind eating away. But they did fuck all to offer like kind of resolve it. No, like here's come back next time. We'll take 10% off your bill. Fuck all. It was just like, the fuck do you want us to do about it? So fuck you, Caprice. Fuck you. Never go back. That's kind of made the decision there. Well, fucking, that's you. You had your chance. Tricks. Ruined the night. Anyway, right. How do we go to that? It was you go the other way for Tesco's than not towards the high street,
right.
towards
the rugby club.
I came in. There's the roundabout at Tesco. If you come over the bridge, over the water, the roundabout, Tesco's on the other side of the roundabout. If you go right there, and it's just right. I can't remember the name of it for the life of me. It's a proper Italian restaurant name. Like,
right.
It's good though. Good food.
The key thing to remember: pistachio tiramisu.
Aye, it was a special. Don't know if they do it all the time, but somebody tweet us with the name of the restaurant. And we'll get a decent plug. Right, TG Willis again. According to Google Translate, you pronounce Marianne Chabria as Marion Chabria. Wasn't John Wayne's real given name Marion? Yes.
I think it was,
Factual. Wordy McWordface, who's your favourite South American paramilitary fundamentalist, and what do you think their favourite flavour of milkshake is?
I actually googled the only paramilitary group that I'm aware of, and was it Colombia or was it South America?
South America. Yeah.
South America was FARC in Colombia, and there was a boy who's now like a politician, but was like the head of the group. What I say his name was it Timonez? Something like Timonez. And he was like, for what I read quickly on Wikipedia, he was a right bad bastard. Seemingly he was killing farmers that were giving away their cocaine crops to, I don't know, non-authorised guys that made cocaine.
Right. What's his favourite milkshake then? Vanilla?
You can't imagine. Pistachio. By the way, a pistachio milkshake would be all right. It doesn't sound right, like pistachio, because it's a nut. It doesn't, like, I don't know, maybe hazelnut ice cream. You ever had that?
Mm-hmm.
I've had a hazelnut yogurt before. That's all right. But I don't know, like pistachio and ice cream, it doesn't seem to go together, and yet it's fucking brilliant.
Good. Aye. Pistachio, then we'll go for that. Right. Stuart, topical for time of year. What's your favourite Christmas song?
Fucking hell. We were still answering these. We only fucking finished that.
This was for the day, wasn't it? No, save that one for Christmas.
I was going to say, we were sitting about fucking mid-January or February going, I quite like Slade. Yeah. What is my favourite one though? So the Pogues is good, but I think I like Wham. I can't think of many others though. I like Last Christmas.
It's interesting that you mentioned those two, Colin. You ever heard of Whamageddon? So where you try and avoid hearing Last Christmas.
So they did it, don't they?
Aye. So I basically played Whamageddon for years by myself, but it wasn't Wham. It was the Pogues and Fairy Tale in New York. And it was maybe, was it last year or the year before? I swear to God, I heard it in June. Fucking raging. And it was one of those things where you don't actively try and avoid it, so you go about your daily activities, like you get in the car, you listen to the radio, blah, blah, blah. I heard this in fucking June. Raging. Anyway.
You've not started playing the game then, though, so you're all right, yeah?
Aye, there must be a period where you're off duty.
Surely it's the 1st of December or something. You start
See,
playing.
I'd never really, again, like it was one of those things that I do on a whim where I just thought, I'm going to do this. And I didn't really clarify the rules to myself.
I've been playing it since January and I've not heard it all year. So I'm doing really well with the ball.
You're winning. He's 17. I'll go with him just because the boy knocked himself over with his car and now you to respect that. Like,
I
so,
love that story.
it's not one of my favourites.
What was the reason for it again? That he'd been eating
Something to
he
do
came up with
with
some
potatoes.
aye,
Big tatties.
some weird
Not any
explanation.
David
For it.
Jones. It was something Lily spoke about when he was on, eh?
Aye. Amazing.
Amazing.
Charlie Mulgrew thinks he made that up. Said, who consistently has the worst football strip in Scottish football and why is it Motherwell? It's not Motherwell, it's Hearts. That's a given, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
look at the colour of the fucking thing.
Partly physical can be quite shit as well. Like just where the red and the yellow's alright. Some of their away ones have been alright, but it's when they stick the big fucking
What's his name?
thing on it.
Kingsley.
Can't remember.
Kingsley.
Aye.
But Motherwell's alright sometimes, I think. It's the maroon in it that's putting them off though, I think. Probably.
Aye. The Kilmarnock strip's shite, isn't it? It's like old school Tesco carrier bag.
Well, St Johnston's a wee bit like Kilmarnock's as well, eh?
What do you make of
Dunno.
Dundee's new strip? Is it their home? I don't know if it's their home or away. It looks like someone's taken a marker pen and just sort of like scribbled on it. Blue marker pen.
Oh, I've not seen it.
I haven't seen it.
I need to look it up. Mind you used to get all the mad goalie strips back in the day. I wonder why they stopped doing that.
Oh, do you mean like like Gorham, for example? He had like, actually here it was almost like the claret and amber discs on the black background.
Aye.
When he was at Rangers, like the McEwen's Lager sponsor.
And Jim Layton had one. It was like kind of cross between a Jackson Pollock and somebody just fucking thrown up on it.
You're talking about the sort of like green digital black. It was kind of all over the place. Like it wasn't really anything in particular.
It was all just multicoloured. It was fucking weird looking.
I'm trying to. Oh no, wait, hang on. Is that the sort of yellowy McBean sponsored one?
Aye. Right, Drumchapel Hibs. Why don't you get Scotch pies at the cinema? That's a shout, by the way.
I know. It's just I know. Or why do you get them at the football? When they're like, because it's not like you get them. Why do you not get nachos now at the football?
Well, you do now. That's you get hot dog. Well, you get hot dogs and all that. Like,
aye.
Pizzas and
Popcorn.
I want a complete
that's-
reversal of cinema and football cuisine. I want steak pies, Scotch pies, burgers, hot dogs, you name it at the cinema. And I want popcorn at the football. A Bovril at the cinema.
Stick a big Coke, mind a big Bovril, one of the big fucking cups. Try to drink it before it gets cold.
The smell would be incredible. We were talking about having the kind of smell of bacon earlier on, but when you walk in, you're like, oh, fucking there's Bovril and pie. You just hear it's good. That's why they do it, probably because you just hear everybody's fucking stomachs rumbling as they get hungrier and hungrier. The smells kind of folk who have decided I'm not spending 50 quid on food coming
the
to the cinema.
Smell you get them out at the cinema is that cheesy sauce, and that stinks. And that doesn't attract. I mean, it tastes no bad, but it doesn't attract anybody to go and think, "Come on, I want some of that," because that smells magic.
Ice cream.
Horrible.
Kind of, they've got like the Ben, the View Cinema anyway. They've got the Ben and Jerry's counter. I would like ice cream at the football. I like a wee 3 scoop just to sit down, just to like, because you know what it's like. You sit down before the game starts, and that's it. It's finished.
Cracking on a Saturday in November. Eh?
Aye,
Lovely.
But they have like at the theatre where they come out with the
when they've got the tray and the
tray over the shoulders and the braces. They could have come out with them like pies.
It's actually ideal to do that at the football as well, because you've got the ideal time for it at half time. You've got the intermission.
They used to do it with spearmint chewing gum and macaroon bars.
Aye. They could surely now, you know, like how the best thing, but I think we've talked about this before, the best thing that's come out of COVID is being able to order stuff on your phone at the pub.
Mm-hmm.
Surely you could just order like a pie in that at your seat. Say, this is my seat, I'll have a pie and a Coke, or a pie and a Bovril.
Did Hearts not try that maybe?
Did they?
Aye.
Did we suggest this or run this by Kieran when we interviewed him?
I don't know. We should have.
Because we definitely talked about it. I'm sure the conclusion was that it would just cost too much for you'd have too many people. It would cost too much to get runners going to like all different parts of the stadium. Everyone's different order.
You wouldn't have that. You would just have them in their stand, though, like instead of standing behind the counter.
You take a section. You say you need to be ordered by this time to get it, or I suppose maybe you'd have folk coming the 5 minutes into the game and going, "I ordered it now," and then so you've got folk constantly kind of come past you with pies and.
Aye. But they constantly folk going for a piss and all that anyway, because folk can't hold their bladder for longer than half an hour at the football.
That sounds like another of your pet peeves, Colin.
That is one other one. Yeah.
Right, Leon asked, I heard that there was a DJ called Jazzy Jeff. Got me thinking, what would your DJ name be, and who at Hibs would have the best DJ name, and what would it be? Show your working. Well, that'd be Fat Boy Fat.
Not going near the one that was in the news this week, are we?
No.
What, Tim Westwood?
Yeah.
Although that is a bit mental, that, eh? Did you read that? Not that I'm not getting into the detail of it, but did you see how they reported it? He had sex with 14-year-olds. And that Naga Munjay of the BBC tweet, I think she deleted it again, saying, language is important. You don't have sex with a 14-year-old girl.
Aye.
You rape a 14-year-old girl. You know what I mean? It's like, why are you reporting it as that? Why are they reporting it as that? Anyway, so no going him. Sick away from the other ones that have been through all the scandals. Why is it always DJs that are involved in all this? Is it just because they like it? Sorry, they've got more opportunity because they're
probably.
And that. I'm not saying every DJ's like that. Disclaimer in there.
I just like when Matty went for Fat Boy Fat. Why was your immediately thoughts? I'm going to call myself Tim Westwood.
No, I never said that.
I'm not going to do it.
I said the opposite.
Is that just because it was the first DJ that you thought of that was in?
Because it's just been reading
current,
the paper.
relevant, right? Okay.
Yeah. I'll go DJ Logic or MC Logic. I might go MC Logic. Probably I wouldn't already do there. What's the difference between a DJ and an MC?
An MC sort of like it's almost like a rapper, but
I'll go a DJ then.
DJ is more like doesn't really do anything like that. Although Calvin Harris, I think, is he a DJ? This is the fucking head band they covered it. Like, what's a DJ? He's a DJ.
He's not really anymore though, because they just stick it on a fucking memory.
Just press play.
Mental,
then do this.
Aye, is that
wee knob? Did I turtle that wee knob?
No, they would mix stuff. You would see them mixing it in that, and you would hear it was different because it was different every time they'd done it. Now they just record that and play it. Like fucking hell, paid how much for this?
Good. John, what's your DJ name going to be?
I don't know. It's probably going to be like DJ Talks Pish or something.
Harry MacArthur, second last or penultimate, however you like to say it, question of the night. Harry MacArthur, if there was a highlight reel made full of the best moments of your life, what song or songs would you choose to play over the clips?
I can't think of any songs. The only song I can think of right now, and I'm not saying this is what I'd pick, is that there was a One Direction one that they play all the time on, like, The Story of My Life. That's what it's called. It's literally called the answer to the question. I can't think of any other songs now. But we were having a chat on Saturday about funeral songs.
Mm-hmm.
You got any songs ready for your funeral, John?
The way you say that, like, it's like it's impending and I don't know.
Just so we know. In case we're asked.
Do you know something? I think an answer to both questions. So, soundtrack to the life and funeral song, just because it would be really funny, because a long-standing joke that I've got with some mates is War Pigs by Black Sabbath. It's not a very funny joke. It's just something I kept asking Alexa to play whenever I was in their house. But it sounds like, I don't know, it feels like one of those songs that could just be sort of playing in the background at various like peaks and troughs.
I think I'd pick a really sad one, so folk were crying in that. Like
your funeral or The Story of Your Life?
Aye. Well, I'm guessing the story of my life's got to be at my funeral.
You could be watching it though. It could be like you could be watching it. It's just like here's all your best bits. Kind of like this is your life.
Aye.
Big Brother. You've been kicked out of Big Brother, and they go right, Colin. Here's your best
Right.
bits.
Aye, but this is the story of my life, so I've just immediately went to the end of it. And
Aye.
It's tricky as well because we're still relatively young, so we've still got a good number of years ahead of us, and you don't know what's going to happen in that time. So it's kind of hard to pick a song that says that covers.
I think you're overthinking this, John.
Well, what would you play for like your life to date?
Do you know the theme tune for Benny Hill? I probably would have. I probably now that I think about it, it's just what's brought to mind. But you're talking about funeral songs and that. If they bring the casket down, and then that's what. And also my funeral music would be stuff like "Staying Alive" or "I'm Still Standing" and "Live Forever." And
do you think if you
stuff like that?
do you think if you could see your own funeral, or if you can imagine your own funeral, and you've got the pallbearers that are maybe like taking you over to where you're going to be planted, if they were to drop you, would people laugh at that? Would the congregation or the mourners, do you think they would laugh and go, "Oh, fucking classic Matty," or would they be absolutely horrified?
Get somebody who'd laugh.
No, everybody would laugh, but some folk would definitely laugh.
I'd be one of those where you try my best not to laugh.
But it's what he would have wanted, is what I would say.
Have you ever seen the episode of the IT Crowd where Roy goes to the funeral and it's like the wee people he has to step into the pallbearer and they're all wee. He's fucking tall.
No.
He describes it at the end, says, "How was it?" He says, "It was fucking hilarious." Anyway, right. Last question. Jeff Ashton, why do men have nipples?
Just so you can get away.
To put people off in meetings, isn't it? So you can you done that with folk where they kind of agree everything. Like with some of one of your close pals at work that at meetings, sometimes just kind of give your nipple a wee seductive twirl.
Is it an equal opportunity for men to accessorise their bodies with jewellery as women?
Could be. Maybe that's what they were thinking when they made us.
Aye, there'll be a proper answer. Like there'll be something to do with.
They must form before your sex is decided.
Yeah. That's what I was. Yeah, that's where I was going. At. I agree with that. That's what it'll be.
Right. Oh, I think we got some actual factual answers in there tonight as well as the nonsense, which is decent.
Good to spread some information to the guys. So
glasses.
And misinformation.
That's what happened. put the glasses on and all sit down and look at us. We're Stephen Fry.
Yep.
Right. Thanks very much for tuning in. We might make this available. I know this is like a subscriber only one, but just to give you advance notice, you can fucking complain to me on Twitter if you want. Might go out on a later release or as a free episode as well, because we recorded the other episode before, so everybody who sent in the questions for this one won't get it apart from if they've paid for it, and they might not be subscribers. They might have asked us questions and not be subscribers. So just to
These
be nice,
guys will be going, "I paid my fucking money." That's what they're all thinking, right?
They will, and it's fair. He's due. It is fair, but we're just trying to do the right thing. Anyway, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee. I don't